So then in verse 4, then saith one of his disciples, being Judas Iscariot, Simon's son, which should betray him. So still foreshadowing here, right? In verse 5, why was not this ointment sold for 300 pence and given to the poor? So Judas is already worrying about the wrong things here, right? Like, you're focused on the wrong things. It's a phrase that I've said commonly, a couple people around me have said commonly. They're just referring to things as like, you're focused on the wrong thing. Judas is focused on, all the money. That's all Judas cares about as we read this passage here, right? So then in verse 6, explains why Judas said this. And he said, not that he cared for the poor, so his heart's not in the right place, but because he was a thief and had the bag and bare what was put therein. And so Judas was a thief, and he was around Jesus, and he didn't put away his thievery. Even though Judas was there when he saw him rebuke people for being thieves in the temple, right? He still is a thief. He's definitely hiding that from Jesus, but Jesus knows because he is God, right? It says that he had the bag. This is assuming that the disciples and even Jesus and all of their group kind of had one bag where they might have put all their money in so that they could help provide, that they could eat, as well as, keep it very organized so that they don't have wasted expense anywhere, right? And so Judas seems to be in charge of this process. And so that's why it says that he had the bag, right? And so he also bare what was put therein. But it also notes that he was a thief. And so because he had the bag and he was a thief, he bare what was put therein and was maybe using it not for the right reasons, right? So then in verse 7, then said Jesus, let her alone, or leave her alone, right? Against the day of my burying hath she kept this. So he's saying here that she's doing this to prepare him for his burying, right? Again, foreshadowing here that he will die. And then in verse 8, he's saying, for the poor always ye have with you, but me ye have not always. So he's foreshadowing that eventually he will not be with them. Jesus is probably referring to when he goes back up to the Father, but he's saying, you won't always have me. So she is doing this honorable act to let her do this, right? This is out of the humbleness and humility of her heart worshiping me. So let her do this, right?